Hey guys, it's James, and I'm in Beaterra as always. As you can see, I'm back in my room. I bought some glasses, and I'm enjoying them. Finding out that I actually can't really see that well. The world without them now looks very hazy, and I don't know how I lived like this before. I'm getting used to them, and I'm enjoying them. So, um, this is my last week of a challenge that I'm doing, and I'm spending a lot of time basically just working. Like for example, I have to make 8 video blogs, so I have to make 3 more this week. So just keeping it busy, and it's always good to talk, but always good to express myself. Always good to speak my mind because it's always running. I'm always thinking, and some people tell me just stop thinking, but I don't believe that most people can stop thinking. Um, I mean, unless they're very high in meditation, or unless they really are centered within themselves and very comfortable with themselves and comfortable with their place in the world. I don't think it's really that easy. So for me, like my thinking is like it's based on these kind of things. So it's for me, it's like, well, if I'm gonna think, I'm gonna actually try to make something out of it. But rather than just like try to, well, because if I label it as wrong, then that's just more thinking that creates more pain for me because I'm so strong in my beliefs at this point. I just want to keep on talking and just keep on laying it all out until I break through or something and just reach a sense of calm. But maybe that's a delusion of freedom that won't happen. But anyway, um, that's not actually what I want to talk about today. And I've been talking to you guys a lot about intentions, and I keep talking about it because I'm getting some new insights as I continue to kind of contemplate it. And I am kind of a Buddhist master guy. I wanted to say that in this video, but um, let's talk about intentions because it's relevant to this point that right now I'm blabbering on, and that actually. Being very clear in your intention is important to set your mind to something. As I told you, the mind is very strong. The mind is very capable of achieving whatever it wants, but you have to make the proactive effort to continuously bring it back to the effort, and that means that you make the effort. It's not just about thinking, but it's actually about also taking action. And I think that you can do this through understanding about habits. And so our life is made up of a bunch of different habits. And there's a few things that make our habits different or change. I think that the environment has a big source on it. So like where you live. I live here up in the mountains above Barcelona, and you might notice that, I don't know, some of my video blogs might seem kind of similar in how I speak. I like to get out, but these days it's kind of cold, so, I mean, like, it's like that, like, it's cold outside, so I feel more apt to stay in and conserve my energy. And so it's like, that's an environmental factor that makes my videos like this. Or, I'm moving to Barcelona. I'm hoping that moving into a hostel will make me more social and make me more into living in a social environment with new people coming and going, new ideas, new countries. Where are you from? I'm from Australia. What's up, mate? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I think that'll kind of unleash me in a way, and then I'll be able to go out as well, which is one of my big goals here. I haven't really started pursuing it, but why did I come to Barcelona was to just go out a lot. Not to just I mean, it's been awesome hanging out here and studying and stuff, but I think that the social skill is so important. I think it's so important to have a purpose in life. I think it's very important to have a sense of direction for the world, but you can't impress that onto other people unless you're comfortable talking to them. And so I guess part of this blog for me is also practicing that. Practicing that being comfortable with speaking my mind, because and when I'm with people, I tend to perceive them. I tend to listen. I tend to lean to the side of, okay, I want to hear what you have to say, because that's gonna help me grow. Maybe it's selfish. I don't know. But all right, still going on. The intention of today is about habits. So I have to come back to the idea about habit. And well, like I said, our life is a collection of habits, and it's really important to realize this in the sense that, well, first, like I said, the environment affects our habits. Our relationships definitely affect our habits. And we also have some conscious control over our habits to the extent that we have motivation. If we have enough motivation and vision for our habit, then we can bring it into our awareness. And I just watched the video that the guy basically said that we have existing habits, things that we do anyway, like we very basic things like go to the bathroom, sleep, eat, so what he proposes, this guy BJ Fogg, he said that the best way to establish a new habit is to have it precede an existing habit, and then to reward yourself after that habit. Like, yeah! I don't know, like, every time I wake up, this is a habit in the Buddhist communities that many people, they meditate after they wake up. It's so hard for me to do, because the first, it's really only like the first 1 or 2 minutes I'm just like, thinking, and then I wake up. But that's a great way to start the day, because you're not thinking about it all day. So it's like, wake up, meditate, and if that can become a habit, it can lead to a great day, And he also says that having small habits is also important. Very small things that we do can you plant the seed, basically. So when I say planting the seed, I mean that it's creating a new, I think it's called a neural sheath in the brain, where it's just like it creates a new connection in the brain where, like for example, if you wake up and then meditate, then that becomes part of the habit. So the habit of waking up and then the habit of meditating are become connected in a way. I don't know if you can actually call waking up being a habit, but I mean, it makes procedural sense. A procedural memory, I guess, is that after you wake up, you meditate, or you exercise, or you put on your running shoes and just get out to the door. It seems that if we look at the outcome that we want to achieve, and it can be very overwhelming, but an outcome is really a collection of different behaviors in a way. So if I was I want to train for the Olympics, get back into swimming, it would mean that I would have to develop a set of behaviors, very small behaviors, probably thousands of behaviors really, that would completely change my lifestyle and completely change my identity. But you can't do that all at once. The body creates homeostasis, it's making a small change, and so it's kind of like, you don't just turn around, you don't turn 180 degrees, you go like very slowly, and then when you're in that direction, it's natural already. When you turn 180 degrees, you might not even realize it at that point, because the change has been gradual. Last year when I got back from Korea, I started working out, and I added something every few weeks. So I started out with just running, and then I started doing arms, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, I started doing 1 day a week of legs, and then I started swimming once a week, and then after 2 or 3 weeks I started swimming twice a week, and then after 2 or 3 weeks I started swimming 3 times a week. And then, so at a certain point I was swimming 3 times a week and lifting every day. I mean, it's pretty intense actually. I had a nice program going for myself, just because I was creating small changes instead of just trying to make it all happen at once, which would be overwhelming. slowly became part of my identity, I guess. So I guess I made those connections. I always had it at kind of the same time of night when I would go, and I enjoyed that a lot. And then I jumped to 5 times a week with swimming, and I basically fell back into swimming. I guess I got falling back into swimming like it's a bad thing, but yeah, back into swimming. I went from 3 to 5 times. When I did that, I thought it was a little bit too big of a jump. It's like you want to make small changes so that they become permanent. You don't want something that's impermanent. I mean, in general, the practice of saying your intention to something and repeatedly placing it on that object is to make it more permanent. I mean, everything is impermanent, but at least we have the value to the world that we create something for ourselves that is more permanent, and we do that in ways that we practice acceptance, for example, acceptance of imperfectness. We practice mechanical ability, just being able to do something, and we slowly make it more permanent for us, and so that happens over time. Well, like I said, everything is impermanent, and I think that there's actually there's an ability to find a kind of a Zen balance in your life when you're not even meditating. It's because if you're dedicated enough to something where you're able to repeatedly place your mind on it, then despite it being impermanent, and despite the circumstances that might arise, that you're able to reach a certain state there. But I mean, in reality, I think the easiest thing to do is to place on the breath, because at least as long as we're alive, some things that are going to happen consistently are that we're going to be breathing, every single day. That is something that's permanent while at least we're alive, So, and I mean, if you notice, if you hold your breath for a while, you begin to freak out, It's like, holy shit, the breathing's not helping me anymore. I'm impermanent as a person. I'm gonna die, like. And take a deep breath and let it fill you, and enjoy the world as it is, and enjoy that you get to live this life, and that each breath is a precious gift for you, It's kind of like that. But then one day, I'll breathe out for the last time and lay my head down to die, and that will be, just passing on, But the ego is something that is created. You don't need to have an ego because we breathe. Our body's made for survival, but at least finding something of more permanence in the world of form, the world where ego is involved, can help us find some comfort in life. Having a nice home with security and blankets, good food, a beautiful partner who inspires us, and a good work where we have a good identity. These are things that we should pursue, because our evolution is that. I mean, if we're our ancestors, we would be animals. If we were monkeys, we'd be animals. But we've evolved from that. And now we have the prefrontal cortex, which allows us to think and solve problems, And so, what's so amazing about humans, and what's so inspiring about humans, and I mean, you can look at any great role model or any great figure in history, is that they've had the ability to kind of, there's humans can identify with their pain and follow their feelings and follow their sexual drives and all of that, and they can live in that world, and they can be animals, One of the reasons that I don't drink, I realized it last night, is I don't want to be any more of an animal than I already am. It's already hard enough as it is, just trying to make it through the world with all these sexual desires and desires for food and just desire in general. And then maybe there's like a middle ground, though, where it's like we're half animal, half evolved, and then from there it's like it just goes on for infinite. How much are you driven to show the world that it is possible, that our next phase of evolution is going to be about moving past that and having a developed mind that has both has compassion for people. It's a really cool really cool concept if you think about it, because we don't know what it is. That's why it's so exciting to see people who are growing and experiencing new things. Is that we don't know how that is, and it kind of gives us a clue into the future, I think. All right. Well, I'll just close this out by telling you guys about a final thought. And I told you before about habit and how habits are dependent a lot on the environment that we live in. But as far as growth goes, I think that growth is about new experiences, because when we have new experiences, we have to creatively intertwine them with our life. I've learned this a lot from playing piano or ukulele even, where I'll learn a new song, or I'll begin to learn a new song, and it just happens that my fingers just find, when I'm improvising or writing a piece, that my fingers will just find a compromise between my own style and the song that I'm practicing, and it can be applied to saying, like a game where like you might study a certain type of technique or something, or a certain type of but keep it fun, or make it serious, but like that's another way, is that when you practice that, then it's like it's being woven into who you are and who you think you are, and then realizing that it's okay to do that as well as, I think, help people grow. With something like this, it would be like something like reading a new book, and even though I'm not completely comfortable talking about some of these new ideas I'm learning, it would be to present those ideas even though it might be kind of shaky. So we have to, it's another reason to accept impermanence, is because when we grow, we have to plant that seed even though it might be ugly. It might be ugly for the world. If we can't have an ego about how we might look if we try something new, try something new but in the end it'll help us grow and make us feel more complete and more evolved as a person. I think that relationships are really the foundation of growth, because when we have people who can lead us and people who can show us a different side of life that is possible because they lived through that side of life. Take someone who might be very generous, or someone who's more reserved, or someone who's very cerebral, maybe like me, I don't know, or someone who's very fashionable, and so, or someone who's more perceptive, or someone who's very powerful. There's lots of different types of people, and being with them for a period of time, even if we might not agree with them, gives us a chance to kind of learn about a different, how another person might be, and how that might apply for us. So like my roommate, when I first met him, I didn't really agree with him, but I was open to learning about his perspective. I think that having an open mind, not judging other people, but just kind of being with them, even though it might rub against your ego in the wrong way, it's worth it, because sitting with it and just being there with it, it gives you a chance to see reality for other people as well. So basically, people can help us grow. We're comprised of many habits, and understanding those habits, we can change them, but it's best to do it through environment or through other people, I think. And enjoyed making this video blog for you guys today, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.